Welcome back, everybody, to the Chromosome 2 podcast. Today we have a very special guest.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a little different, fellas.
It is going to be very different.
First official guest.
Yeah, first official guest. This is episode 11.
Yes.
Yes.
And I guess we'll start off with, I guess you're captured, so give me your rank and number.
Real quick. What can we call you?
Yeah.
Anything you want to.
Sergeant?
Rockstar.
Sergeant?
That'll work.
Sergeant? All right.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
We got Sergeant here.
Yeah.
Gonna tell us about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's see, start off with, I kind of want to know your like background and your family, if you're okay, where you grew up, and like family members that were in or farmers.
Okay. I grew up in a small town. Do I name the town or?
No, you don't have to. You can just, yeah.
And I lived in town. My folks, my grandpa started the Ford dealership there, and then my dad was a mechanic in the Ford garage. So we grew up in the Ford dealership. And I have an older sister, an older brother, and a younger brother and a younger sister.
Were any of those in your, were any other family members farmers or just military? Lived in town?
No, just lived in town. My brother, he was drafted and was a medic and went to Thailand. And he did the 2 years, and just as when he got out is when I went in.
So this is the...
But it was a small town. We weren't involved with farming or anything.
So you're a city folk out in the country?
In town. My brother and I had a paper out in the evening.
Wow. And so your brother he was the only one that had... Your grandfathers and your father weren't...
My dad was in World War II. He was a airplane mechanic, and he was over in London.
So it was before, I guess after the Blitz, they sent over there.
Right.
Did he work on like some of the sorties, like the bombers?
You know, I really couldn't tell you. We didn't talk, and
Okay.
I kind of regretted that, asking him about that.
Was it you're too young, or was this he just didn't want to talk about it?
Just other things going on.
Life kind of takes
Yeah.
over. Yeah. So when you heard about your brother being drafted, like how did
I was going to college then when he went in.
was he ready to go? Because
I think so.
Really?
Wanted to get it over with. Because then, if you try to get a job, the first thing they ask you was your draft status. And if you didn't have that fulfilled, then they didn't really want to hire you.
So they didn't want to hire you unless you were, if you're part of what do you call it? When you turn 18, you got to sign up for selective service.
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay with selective service, they would hire you.
Well, they kind of wanted you to have that obligation over with. They didn't want to hire you, and then all of a sudden you got drafted.
They didn't want to hire you because you'd be taken away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That was kind of unfair.
Yeah. But I can understand their point of view too.
Wow. And then when your brother was gone 2 years,
Right.
and then he came back, then you went in?
Yeah, that's when I went in.
So you asked him, did you ask him any questions? Did he tell you stories?
Not really.
Really? Wow. In Thailand.
Yeah.
Because I know Thailand, they were an ally. I know that. I had a
Right.
cousin that was stationed there too.
So he got to help with a lot of the injuries they sent from Vietnam to Thailand.
So he was in the rear. He was a medic?
Yeah, he was a medic.
Oh, okay. So he got lucky and stayed there and had to do
Right.
that. Now, this is what year was he there?
He would have been 66, 67.
That's the beginning.
Yeah.
That's when it really started.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Because I went in 68.
68.
Yeah, I was going to college, and I didn't know what I wanted to major in, and got bored and I was wasting my time, so I went to the courthouse and told the lady to put my name at the top of the list. And the first thing she said, "Does your mom know this?" And I said, "Yeah, we already talked about it." So,
Oh man.
because I just wanted to get it over with and then go back to school on the GI Bill.
Now, what was the atmosphere like? You know, being this part of Kansas where there's people being drafted and they're hearing stories and they're going and coming back. Like, what was the?
You know, we didn't have that problem like the bigger cities and the community was supportive.
They were supported before.
Yeah, and afterwards.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. That was not. I was good. That's what I was kind of wondering. Like, what is the atmosphere like? Like, the draft is hanging over everyone's head, especially the
Yeah.
men.
Yeah, a lot of people were joining the guards so they wouldn't have to get drafted and doing different things like that.
When I look back on that, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
And after basic, I could understand the ones that went to Canada too.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it was a rough life, different life.
Oh yeah. So you're in high school, you graduate, and then you
I went to college. I went to college for about 3 semesters, and I was just wasting my money and time because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I decided it's time to get the service out of the way.
because that's hanging over your head.
Right.
Wow, man. So was there any point there where you kind of like, this is an adventure, or was there anything?
You know, when I went down to get my physical, the guys I was riding with, after they had their physical, they went home. I had to stay because I was going right in to the service. And that was the scariest point of my life.
So what was that? That was
Because they got to go home and I had to stay, and I was going to boot camp. Oh, my God. It was out of my comfort zone. You know, this is 68. You know, we're not used to venturing out of the town and everything. So
at this
it
point.
was a new beginning.
Yes, another chapter in your life.
Yeah.
So at this point, when you were living in this part of Kansas, did you like adventure out a whole lot, or?
No, we didn't really go. Well, you know, in school we went to track meets like Manhattan KU, but that's about the farthest we ventured out.
Man, and you're just in Kansas doing this in high school. Family vacations? Any vacations?
My dad would go to Arkansas when the school would order a bus, and we'd pick it up from the factory and then drive it home.
Oh, okay.
And so we went to Arkansas. We did go to, probably Yellowstone. We did do some vacations.
So it was a business delivery, but / road trip.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So that was in high school.
And then he would have to go to Kansas City for new schooling for maintenance, and we'd always go with him and tour the Ford plant, and then usually try to go to a baseball game in Kansas City.
So have fun while you're there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. And so you're in high school. So your brother, man. So you go into college. He gets drafted.
Yes,
That was.
because he kind of dropped out of college. He
He should have stayed in.
yeah.
What was his thinking? Because in a way, he's kind of testing the waters for you.
Yeah.
Like, this is what. Did you ask him like, what did you do? How do you
Not really.
No, he should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to some of my classmates that already got their tour in.
You didn't talk to them.
No, didn't really.
That's something I've noticed is that like the attitude, like the further back you go, is more of like you just kind of keep that stuff to yourself.
Yeah.
I've
That's what I'm
noticed
saying.
that.
Because I just went to Smith Center Friday and met with 4 of my classmates to plan our 60th reunion. And one of the guys there was in Vietnam. In fact, he was in the same unit that I went to, and I didn't realize he had a Purple Heart all these years. And he got back probably a little bit before I went in, and I never did talk to him about it.
I'm always curious about that. Why? I guess it's not. They don't talk about it.
Well, it was just kind of different, The news wasn't available like it is now. The social media and the VFW, the Legions, they weren't as active, in the support groups. Not.
I don't think it was lack of caring. It was just like inexperience. We didn't know there was a problem. That's what it seems like, yeah.
Right.
And there's no one to talk to, and you just, it happened. And you continue in life, yeah. So you go to college, and you decide to go. How fast? What's the first thing you got to do is do a physical, right? If you're in the draft.
Yeah, you go to Kansas City, and they do the physical and everything, and they line you up and get your shots and all that stuff. And
your other guys went, but you stayed.
Yeah, I stayed.
Man. And so you go through boot camp?
Boot camp. I did that at Fort Leonard, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And this was been in October when it started turning cold. And then AIT, I went to Fort Ord, California. A lot of them went to Fort Polk, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I told them I was going to be surfing and everything while they was. But Fort Polk was cold too.
Yeah.
Seemed like it was raining all the time. But it was nice. On weekends, we would go to Monterey and Carmel and really had a nice time. Mm-hmm. I stopped at a Jaguar dealer in Monterey one time, and the Jaguars were $12,000. I should have bought 6 of them.
Good looking
That
cars.
was the XKE, that real nice body style and everything. And but we had fun in Carmel and stuff.
No, when you did you take an ASVAB test or because we had college?
No.
So
We
college gave you.
We didn't. They didn't look at that at all.
Yeah.
We
Just
didn't
looking for
have to-
bodies.
Still, there's a lot of people with master's degrees and stuff that was right there with me in infantry.
What?
Yeah, they didn't.
Those are officers. Those are quality. Those
Yeah,
could be officers.
I know it, but
They didn't.
no.
You didn't go to well. So you got college. You went in. You figured out what your MOS was going to be. What was your initial MOS going to be?
11 Bravo.
Infantry.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I didn't give them. I wasn't able to make a selection or anything. It was just automatically pointed in that direction.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty. Well, when I went through MEPS and all that type of stuff, I met with the liaison, and he's like, "What do you want? Like, what type of jobs? What's on your dream list? Whatever, right?"
The wish list. Yeah.
And I chose a couple places in like Okinawa. I don't know about Okinawa, so somewhere in Japan, of course, and then somewhere in Italy, and one other place I can't really remember. Maybe Japan, not Japan, Germany. Don't really remember. And they gave me like choices between what jobs that I want. I clearly wanted security forces, but I didn't get that. Of course, I got aircraft armament systems apprentice. So.
But you took an ASVAB test and they figured.
I did, and I didn't get a good score. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, my score wasn't bad. Mine was like a 79. It was bad.
That's
was bad.
79's bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. The 79's good. It's higher than mine. I can tell you that much.
All my other friends were higher. Like I was a dumb one.
Yeah.
They're all.
Yours was higher than mine. I can tell you that.
In fact, about the first week of basic, see, the draft people were called USs, and the volunteers were RAs. And we had they had us in a group, and they said, okay, all you USs stand up. That's the ones that were drafted 2 years. And this first sergeant said, you guys are going to Vietnam and die unless you sign up for 1 more year, and then you won't have to go. Which was a lie. And and you'd be surprised how many kids signed up for another year. But
That's insane.
that's just what they did, you know, numbers.
But so you were never part of the draft. You would no. We was explain that to me because that's the part I'm kind of confused on.
What I did was, you know, the list they drafted from, I had the lady put me at the top. So when they start drafting, I would be the first to go.
Wow. So you volunteered to go.
I
So
volunteered
that counts
to
as
go.
volunteering.
Yeah, but I still the 2-year draftee,
Yeah.
which
So it's like it was the same for everybody. It was no special treatment. You're going, yeah, that was not special treatment.
And see, that was right when they started doing that. What they call it, the lottery.
yeah. Yeah.
And there were several in my class that had high numbers and didn't have to go. So there was a chance that I could have not had to go, but
Right. Yeah.
I just didn't want to wait around and
Because
I
you're
just-
trying to go for a job. You're in college.
Yeah,
And if you got
I wanted to get that over and give me time to decide what I wanted to do.
so you're there, boot camp. You figure out what your MOS is going to be. You already live in Bravo.
I didn't figure out, they did.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they gave you,
Yeah, I was,
and then you go through basic, and then you go to AIT.
yeah, 11 Bravo's AIT at Fort
Excellent.
Ord.
Yeah.
And then I went to NCO school, Fort Benning, Georgia. And why I actually got kicked out of that. They called me in and my platoon sergeant said I wasn't NCO because I didn't yell loud enough. And I signed the papers and I was sitting down and I thought, oh crap, I'm headed for Vietnam right there. And my squad came down and they protested and they got me back in. And so when I was leading the drills, when I yelled, they yelled. So it worked out good. Wow. When I got back in and passed and everything. And then I thought while I was there, I was signed up for parachute school.
Yeah.
And because it was right there and I did the jump school.
Extra 45 right there.
Yeah,
so
I got
yeah.
extra money.
More money. Yeah. When did you actually get your E5?
When I graduated from NCO school, before I was in a year.
Oh, so you're because of your college background.
No, college had
No.
nothing to do with it.
What?
No, it's did the NCO school and
Yeah.
yeah,
Got that. Then said, let's go to airborne school too. right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Wow. And you're 20?
21.
21. Yeah, that's kind of old. Well, back then, like if you're not 17 or 18, right when you're in, but I was in my 20s. You're in 21. It's kind of older.
Yeah, I was
Little-
older than a lot of them.
Yep. Yeah.
And then my brother was going to get married between my jump school and my TDY. And I asked the first sergeant if I could get leave to go to that because they wanted me in the wedding. He said no. Then he looked at me and said, I'm not saying you can't go, but no, you're not going to get leave.
Officially, it's no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he said, and if you get caught, you'll be AWOL, but there's no reason for them to
Yeah.
pull you over or anything. And so when they were loading up the bus to go to the airport to fly out to Fort Bragg, I went and caught a taxi to the airport and flew into Hayes. And they picked me up to Hayes, and I made it to his wedding.
Wow.
And then he took me back to Hayes, and I got to Fort Bragg a day late, but nobody said anything.
How long were you gone?
Probably
say-
Friday to Monday.
Oh, 40 weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
It
not
was,
too bad.
so
Wow. And this is when you were in Fort Benning.
then I was at Fort Benning and I worked in, the NCO school was supposed to be for S2 and S3, and I worked in S3.
Wow. No, it's, 'cause I know S2 is intelligence.
Yeah.
S1?
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
the working brigade headquarters.
Yeah. And you were S3. What was S3?
I think just to work in the brigade headquarters, which I did.
Brigade level? Okay.
Yeah, I was a staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant?
Yeah.
You got promoted?
No.
Or position as staff? Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, and it was kind of fun. This was in '68, so that's when they had a lot of the riots, and I got my driver's license, government license, because there were several in the office that didn't seem to could pass that, and they said, "Did you study?" And I said, "Well, I looked through the book." And they said, "Oh, you're going to flunk because they've taken it 2 or 3, 4 times and couldn't pass it." And I passed it. You know, I wasn't flying colors, but I passed it.
Yeah.
So I got to, when we went to Washington, D.C. for riot controls, I got to drive the commanding officer through Washington, D.C. And we stayed at the Pentagon for a couple weeks, just hanging out there for.
So that was your first duty, first assignment.
Yeah.
But you're basically still in NCO school? You're done with that?
This is the TDY at Fort Bragg.
Oh, so you're in Fort Bragg after
Yeah.
that? Okay. And that's your permanent duty station? And
Yeah,
you got,
for temporary duty.
And you got signed over to the Pentagon.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, we were just there for 2 weeks, and then we went back to Fort Bragg. We was just there for show.
Yeah. Show force, basically.
Yeah, because they didn't use us for riot control because they had the police train for that.
So you're there. So where did you sleep?
On the floor?
On the floor of the Pentagon?
Yeah, we had our sleeping bags and
Have you ever been back to the Pentagon?
just outside of it
Yeah.
on the honor tour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, are there tours inside? Can you go inside?
We didn't do that.
I would think it'd be pretty cool to go back. I slept right there. Like, in the hallway.
Yeah.
Wow, 2 weeks there. And they provided everything for you, food and clothes, or food
Oh, yeah, yeah.
on the floor and everything.
And
How
then-
How big was the squad that was there? How big?
Oh, it was the whole brigade.
The whole brigade
Yeah,
are in the Pentagon.
yeah, inside in halls.
Big building.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And did you get to go around the
Oh, we
building?
just wandered around.
Oh, man.
Just the hallways, you know. I don't think we got too far,
Yeah.
away.
Did you ever go to the very center of it?
No,
The little, there's this, they say there's like a little shopping,
yeah, I don't
like a-
think we did.
there, it's on the outside perimeter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then while I was there at Fort Bragg, we did some maneuvers in Florida we jumped into. And then after I had a year in, I didn't think I was going to go to Vietnam. So there's 3 of us that bought motorcycles. And then on weekends we was out riding motorcycles. And I even rode mine back to Washington, D.C. because I had a cousin that was a Marine major there. And I visited them and they dropped me off at the White House area and I toured that and
Oh,
saw
my God.
the graves and the unknown soldier and
All the good stuff.
yeah. And then I rode my motorcycle back. And then I had 10 months to go, and the first sergeant called me in his office and said, "Where you been for 2 months? These orders been looking for you for Vietnam." And I said, "Right here with you." And so I took my motorcycle back to the shop, and they shipped it back to Kansas for $50.
Yeah, so that's a lot. That's pretty cheap. Even back then.
Yeah. And then so I went home for leave, and I was supposed to report to Vietnam like December 21st. And my mom said, "Why not after Christmas?" And I said, I
I
don't
know,
know.
right? Yeah.
So I was out jogging, and I ran into a barbed wire fence, and I cut my leg. And she loaded me up and took me to the doctor, my uncle. And she said, "Don't you think this is bad enough that he shouldn't have to report until after Christmas?" And he said, "Yeah, let me sign the paper."
Oh, my
and she
God.
took it over to the head of the Red Cross in Smith Center, my cousin. And so I didn't have to report until after January 1st.
Oh, man.
I did not know that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to back up a little bit.
Okay.
When you were in Fort Bragg,
Right.
you're D5,
Right.
Fort Bragg. When's your first jump? That was in Benning. You did the 5 jumps.
Yeah.
Tell me what was your experience in those 5 first jumps?
Scared.
Did you have any night jumps?
I had one at Fort Bragg.
Was it closing your eyes? Night jump?
No, it was at dark.
It was at nighttime?
It was at nighttime.
We never did that. So you did 5. Well,
I
back
did
then it was 5 jump chump. That's what that's where we were. So you did
Yeah.
5 jumps, but you did one night one.
At Fort Bragg.
Oh, Fort
So,
Bragg.
yeah,
you did.
I did.
Wait, the 5 weren't in Fort Benning,
The 5 at Fort Benning.
Oh, and then later,
Then I
okay.
graduated from jump school.
and you went.
And then I went to Fort Bragg, and then I did a couple more jumps, and one was a night jump there. And then I ended up driving I had a 3/4 ton pickup. I drove up on the airplane and stayed with it, so I wouldn't have to jump.
Yeah, he told me about that.
So to get
I didn't mind jumping. It was all them formations.
Oh, pain in the
you-
ass. Yeah, I
you know,
know.
by the time you ended up jumping, you had a headache and all the fumes from the airplanes and. You
Now,
know,
when you jumped in Benning, what aircraft did you jump out of? Do you remember?
the first one was that what they called the flying boxcar
Yeah.
that vibrated so bad you wanted to jump off of
The hell out of it.
it. You'd sit there and you see the rivets going round and around and around on it.
Oh my God! And those 5 jumps were out of that vehicle.
No, that was the first one. Then the C-130.
Hey. Okay.
And then at Fort Bragg, I did the C-130 and the C-141 jet. And I liked it.
Yeah, that was
It
a
was
nice
a lot
one.
smoother ride. And you walked out of it.
Yes.
The C-130s, you had to do the bunny hop.
Yep.
But the jet, you
Walked
didn't. If you jumped out, you would have got caught in the turbulence.
Yeah. Man, so you were jumping, and this is in '68.
68.
So the boxcar was your first jump.
Now it'd be 69.
69.
Nice.
So in '69, you're jumping out of C-130s and
Yeah.
41s. Those are the same vehicles I jumped out of.
Yeah.
And this is in '90. This
Yeah.
is 20-some years later.
Yeah.
What? Holy. Yeah, the 30 you had to push out a little further out. And
Yeah.
the 41 you just walk out. It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And I remember on my first jump, I think I was the last one out. And one of the earlier ones was still up in the air because he got caught in a uprise and he was screaming and hollering. And I had my chute rolled up and back to the truck before he finally came down
Holy crap. Wow.
because there's another plane wanting to make a pass on the jumps.
Oh my
And
God.
they kind of had to wait.
Yeah,
until
wait till you got a
but-
little lower.
Yeah.
The flyover. Now, did you have any idea what elevation you're jumping at?
Yeah,
Just,
it was
you know?
1,200 feet.
Yeah, okay, that's the same thing for us.
About 1 minute
Yeah,
it took
yeah.
to hit the ground.
Yeah. Damn, it's amazing how it hasn't changed. Well, since I've been, it's like
Yeah.
hasn't changed.
And I thought about doing the free fall, but I was going to have to sign up for extra time. And I thought, no,
I'm done with that. No Halo.
That's good.
So you're in Bragg, you do that. You do 2. I have never done a night jump unless I close
Yeah.
my eyes. That's the only time I was jump. But so you, and then you're in Bragg. You get those jumps. You go to Pentagon. You're having a good time. You get in a motorcycle. You're
Yeah.
enjoying life.
Yeah.
It's good. And besides the Pentagon, that was the only assignment at the time. You had training, of course, but then
Yeah, that was it. And the maneuvers in Florida.
yeah. Maneuver. Okay, like jungle training in
We kind of war games,
yeah.
you know.
Wow. And the war games back then were there's blanks or how would
Yeah,
you do
blanks.
No miles gear. We had miles gear later on.
Yeah, we
So-
didn't have any of that.
So in that time, yes, when your first sergeant tells you you're going to Vietnam,
Yeah.
you and then so you take leave
Yeah.
and you say, "Oh, I got hurt."
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Okay.
I actually had blood, you know. I
Good,
mean, it
yeah.
wasn't fake, but it was.
Yeah, 'cause your mom
was
is
kind
right.
of nice to
Yeah.
stay there for Christmas and then go.
Now your mom's right about like, why can't you just go after like the first of the year?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And plus, it's Vietnam. It's going to be hot as hell, and if you
Yeah.
go in January, can you just ease into the heat?
Yeah.
Not just So after you stay here, when your mom you get hurt, you get hurt.
Then January rolls around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you were here for leave for a week? How long were you on leave for here?
A couple of weeks, I think.
Couple of weeks?
I think so.
Man, we got 1 or 2 weeks.
I'm not sure, really.
Okay.
You know, it's been a long time ago.
So
And
you-
then when I got to Vietnam, I got out in the field, and there was a buddy from NCO school there, and said, "Where in the heck have you been?" He said, "I've been here for 2 months." I said, "Hey, I've been jumping out of planes and stuff." And our platoon leader, he was airborne, and he thought, "Hey, finally got somebody nice in our group."
Were everyone else legs? That what? That what it
Yeah.
was? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was airborne, and he was airborne.
The only two there, the rest of them were
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to hear a joke. It was called, you know what holds up a chicken's ass? 2 legs. That's anyone who was not airborne.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you're in Vietnam in January,
Yep.
and you're there for 10 months total.
Yep.
Man, how many lifetimes did you live in those 10 months? Like,
Oh, several times.
yeah,
yeah. What was it like first getting there?
yeah.
Well, you didn't know how you were supposed to act. You know, you didn't know if you're going to be taking rockets, bullets. You know, you didn't know how if you're supposed to. You know, it was just kind of different.
Just
It's a whole
acclimating.
new experience. You know.
Can you
But,
walk us through?
I pretty much, I flew in at Cameron Bay. That was the check-in place. And then I flew to Chu Lai. And that was our main rear area. And then I flew into LZ Hawk Hill. And that's where I worked out of. And that's where I got all my gear and everything. And then how did they get me out to the
You said Hawk.
LZ Hawk Hill?
So that's your base.
Base.
That's your forward base.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm not sure how I got out to the field to my unit. I must have met him in LZ Hawk Hill, and then we went out on patrol.
You're walking. Or you're-
Walking, yeah, we always walked. We didn't have transportation or anything.
And what division, what unit was this?
This is the Marical,
The Marical.
the light and the light infantry brigade 196,
And you're there, this is 69.
69.
And you're there with Americal. Wow. Okay, and
Yeah.
then you're on the job now.
Yeah, there was 13 of us in our recon platoon.
And you're assigned to the Americal, but
Yeah,
attachment?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're company Echo.
Echo.
Yeah.
And what was your job? Just to assist and observe?
Yeah, more or less. We did a lot of night work. We did some ambushes. We had a sensor team join us. We placed sensors out.
Can you?
And we got, our platoon leader was pretty gun-ho, and he would take a lot of the assignments that the line companies refused to do.
Oh boy.
And there were some times we would stop because we could hear music, and we knew it wasn't our people, and we backed away. And what was nice about the 13 guys, you know, a lot of times we didn't know where we was at, and so they didn't know where we was at because we just kind of move all around. You know, we didn't have a set.
So when you have an AAR, would they give you? Was there any ARs at the beginning? We're going to go out in this area.
Yeah, we just had certain areas to check, and
But this was the front line, but it was a kind of a foggy front line.
yeah, there was really no front line. It would be just like going out of heading towards
Yeah,
or
probing actions.
you know, just out because there was, you know, sometimes they moved in and out, and
But when you guys would go out, like 10 miles, and you'd stay and spend a night out there?
Yeah, we'd camp out.
And go a little further, just probing.
We usually stayed out in the field like for 30 days and come back in.
Holy moly.
And then they would supply us some food and whatever.
And if you got engaged, you got engaged.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
And our platoon leader was pretty good when we set up at night. He would call artillery in around us in case, somebody was following on this. And every once in a while, he would get it too close.
Danger close. So that,
And sometimes we would move into area, and then all of a sudden, we'd have green tracers going over our head. They were trying to get us to engage, and we didn't. We just lay low and
the green tracers were their tracers.
was their tracers.
And I know in World War II, the Germans had the green tracers. We had red tracers.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was actually them shooting out. Just to trying to probe. They're trying
Yeah,
to,
trying to get us to,
because they didn't know where you were at.
and they didn't know.
Wow, man. And that's the first month.
Yeah.
So in a way, you were in a war zone
Oh, you're in a war
the
zone
whole time.
all the time because they would get rocket launches at LZ Hawk Hill.
This is a straight up asymmetrical war. There is
Yeah.
no front line.
No front line.
God damn, that's insane. And so this went on for quite some time. And so, what was your free time like when you got back?
They would have concerts and different things like that. And there's some pictures of some of them
Yeah.
in there. I never really did see anybody like Bob Hope or Ann
Yeah.
Margaret or any of that stuff.
Yep.
That was later.
Oh, later. Oh, this later on. Okay.
This is his class right here, I think. Right? This is this.
Yeah, that's later after
Yeah,
I got.
know. See if I can find it.
So we was coming back in off of I walked point because I was my squad leader when the platoon sergeant was back at the rear. He would become platoon sergeant, and I would become squad leader. And that happened right at first when I got out there, and I became squad leader, which I really didn't know the names or the guys. And the platoon leader said for me to pick somebody to walk point. Well, I didn't know. He said, well, it looks like you're going to walk point. So I took off stomping, and he said, yeah, take it easy, kid. Take it easy. So I became a point, which I got to where I kind of liked that. Because if we ever got hit, they would wait for us to go on through,
Yep.
and they'd hit the middle of us, which happened a time or two. But and then we was the medic came up to me one time, and he said, "You got leeches." And I said, "How do you know?" He said, "Look at your pants leg; they're kind of red." And I pulled up my pant legs, and I had leeches size of my thumbs on me, broken, and so he would pour insect repellent and getting them off and everything. And I think I was running a temperature from that infection and everything, and that's when I got wounded. And I'm glad it was probably good because I would never gone on sick call.
Because you didn't want to.
I didn't want to. I was afraid I'd get in trouble just, for,
Yeah.
And so I was walking point and we was coming back in, and that's when I got tripped the booby trap.
Wow. And then you got your first. That was your first and
First,
only.
yeah.
and only Purple Heart.
Yeah. Wow. And so they flew me into July. That's where they did the surgery and everything. And then I was there for a couple weeks, and then they flew me to Cameron Bay, and I did the convalescent center for about a month. And then I went back to LZ Hawk Hill, and I went to the first sergeant, and I said, "Hey, there are better jobs over here than out in the field. I want one."
Yeah, I'm done with
You know,
that.
And so he had to have the platoon leader release me, which he did. And he said, if you don't find one, you're going to go to the line company. I said, I know, but. So he called me in one day and he said, how about a forward observer? And I said, no. I said, a better job.
Not a forward observer.
So a couple of days later, he said, how about teaching English to the Vietnamese soldiers? I said, yes. And so they sent me to Vong Tau for that. And Vong Tau used to be the R&R center there. And so when we got there, we checked our weapons in and never did see them again.
When you were there.
Yeah, while I was there, we could go downtown, and some of the guys lived downtown, got them an apartment downtown and lived downtown. And we would roam the whole town without having to worry about.
Any VC there.
Yeah.
When you got hit by that booby trap, when you hit that mine, how long in country were you in when that happened? A month, 2 months? 2 months.
2 months.
And that happened.
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So in those 2 months when you hit that, when you got there, how many engagements did you have? Like, was there a few of them? There was engagements. There was ambushes.
Well, yeah, we had some engagements. We kind of captured this underground hospital, and they had a point system set up between the line companies A, B, D, and our group.
Echo.
Whoever had the most points on what you captured, killed, or everything, get extra days for back in the rear. Mm-hmm. And we had more points than all of them put together.
Man, because it was gung ho. He wanted
Yeah,
to go out and
we and what we saw and got and captured and
you're bringing back intel. You're bringing information.
right and
Yeah, and you're basically going out in an initiative, but reluctantly, but still, you're doing it.
yeah,
And wow, that's amazing. And you get back and you luckily you're able to survive that, and then you go into teaching English.
yeah, to the Vietnamese soldiers.
And from then on, this is all it was after that.
Yeah, and we did we'd either do a morning or an afternoon, and the rest of the time was ours.
That's yeah. And you have a CIB. You definitely have a CIB because combat infantry badge.
Yes.
You definitely have.
Yeah,
that.
I have the combat infantry badge. It's in that plaque
Yeah.
there.
On here. Oh, this is the shadow box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, unwrap that. Can you unwrap that?
Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll definitely snag a picture and put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
No, but my name's on there.
I'll
too.
censor that.
Okay.
Yep. No worries there.
Yeah, knife. Here, use this.
Oh yeah. Let's just use a very dull bayonet.
Don't bait it.
Hey, it works for digging rocks.
Yeah. By the way, he used this for digging rocks.
Yeah. So your passion was your rock passion back then too.
Yeah, but I never did collect rocks at Vietnam. I wished I'd brought.
Well, you got more important things to worry about.
Yeah, I never had thought about it because it's back there were mountains, waterfalls, rice paddies, and all that, and it was beautiful country.
Cut his mic. Yeah.
You cut my mic.
Oh,
right
sorry.
quick.
I mean, it's beautiful country out there.
Yeah. So you were in that town teaching English. Was there any inkling at all that there was VC there?
They said that was an R&R spot.
Did you cut his mic off?
No,
It's fine. Can you hear me? No, you can't.
Oh, it says. Oh,
Here.
They said it was an R&R spot for the Viet Cong too.
there we go.
That's where they took their R&R.
so it was a safe zone for everybody.
And we would joke and tell that to the new people that would come there. And then when I got back to the States, I read where that actually was.
Yeah.
So
So it was a safe zone for both sides.
yeah, and there was a lot of them that carried weapons, but we didn't. But we didn't have any problem.
Yeah.
I'm careful. I have to go
Oh,
in and
yeah.
on the video. It's
That's
I can
kind
do
of
it. But
That's kind of a homemade thing.
Yeah.
But he's also a woodworker. He works really good with wood. You know,
Bronze Star.
Yes,
yeah. So
with
the
the
sorry,
device.
Valor.
Yeah.
Arcom. Purple Heart. National Defense. I only have 2 items here. 3 items. I have that, of course.
Yeah.
That and that. That's all I have. Damn. What is the badge under the rifle? Yeah. Mine was grenade too.
Yeah.
Grenade also. This is amazing. Now we see this is a Bronze Star, right?
Yes.
With Valor.
Yeah.
Can you go into how that happened?
Yeah, the clerk wrote up a thing.
Oh, okay.
just for around too much.
Is your mic's back on?
yeah,
Yeah.
my mic is still on. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I think this right here is supposed to be right there.
Reason. It has,
We'll
there's
set
a
it up
reason.
before we take the photo.
I know. We have to crack it open.
Wow. Sergeant, there you are. Company E, Company Echo, 2nd Battalion, 1st Infantry, 196th Infantry Brigade, Bronze Star Medal, V device, 18 February 1970. Damn. I have to read this later. I'm going to read this later. So this basically is the 2 months.
Right.
And my cousin was with the American. He got killed in, God, he was there 4 months,
Yeah.
and that was it. It was in 70, yeah. Damn.
Then while I was there at Vung Tau, my mom asked me if I was going to bring a Vietnamese. So I had this bar girl pose on the back of a motorcycle, holding a sign said,
Whoa.
"Marry a Vietnamese," and the number you're supposed to call. And
Was she one of the barflies?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah, she was nice looking.
You should have
Wow.
snatched that
Little
up.
French in her. There's a little French.
Yeah,
in
you
her.
see,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the French Vietnamese, their daughters are the most gorgeous I've ever seen. My God, she's
Now-
gorgeous.
I would always talk to her when I'm
Uh-huh.
down there, and I had seen her when there's a couple Australian guys was going to start a fight in the bar room.
Yeah.
She would take a beer bottle outside and break it, then come back with that behind her back.
She was not to be messed
Oh
with.
no, you didn't. You didn't mess with her.
You did not mess with her.
No.
She is gorgeous. Jeez.
Well, I do have to say one thing. He did get a rock from someplace.
I did.
Yeah, just from someplace. I think it was called like Germany at the Berlin Wall.
What? What do you mean?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a piece of the Berlin Wall.
How the hell did you get this? When I was in Fort Sill, they had the Berlin pizza there, and I was grabbing at it, and I was like trying to take a piece, I couldn't. And then some of the other Joe that was there, you can't touch that. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to take one. This is
that
the
was-
Berlin Wall.
When that was coming down, I had a niece that was over there, and I not text her, but emailed her and say, I would like a piece of that. And she rented a hammer. They would rent hammers out so
Yeah.
people could chip off it.
When
And
was
she
this?
I'm not sure.
What year?
I'm not sure.
But this is actual part of the Berlin
Yeah,
Wall.
it was when they was tearing it down.
Yeah. Well, you can see the graffiti right
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Now,
You
I don't
gotta-
have any documents or anything, but she brought that back
that's
for
real.
me, and
Yeah.
that's a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Wow. Berlin Wall.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, rock to find. out in
Yeah,
the
this is
wild.
the best. This is probably one of the best rocks you've ever found. that should be like put in a frame, you know, or something. So after you were with teaching English to the Vietnamese soldiers,
Yeah.
that was pretty much the entire tour from then on.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So it was smooth sailing,
yeah,
but still danger.
not so bad. And I would go downtown and eat a lot and sit in the cafeteria because the cafeteria is so greasy.
Yeah.
And I would go to a stand and get, one of those French bread, and ham and cheese and egg sandwiches.
Yeah. It like all this Vietnamese food all around. He just goes.
It goes
And this was on the beach, the South China Beach.
Oh.
And when we get done with one class, well, me and the students would go downtown, and they would order a meal for me,
Nice.
and I wouldn't know what it was. And there was only one time that I couldn't eat, and they'd laugh, and they would get me a hamburger or something. But we'd try squid and
Yeah.
octopus and different stuff like that.
So your rapport with the Vietnamese, the people, the civilians, and the military was pretty good.
Oh yes.
Ooh, wait, I'm wrong on that. Never mind.
What was their opinion on like?
I felt like they liked us there, that we were doing good. And that was my opinion from Vietnam, that we were doing good there.
Yeah.
Because we had the mama son that came and cleaned our hooch and everything. And then we would go to her place on weekends, and she would cook for us, and we'd go on a outing, with her and her family.
Wow.
And, they talked, well, of course, they were making money off of us and everything, but
They treat you good.
I
though.
just felt like we were doing good.
Because I think that they like you're not the first one they've done this for, and then they do this catering for American soldiers, and it's for us it's pennies, but for them it's a lot. And
Yeah.
it's a good life. It's a good trade, basically.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Who is this soldier?
We rescued him from downtown. He was going to become soup.
This
A dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because
They
dog
ate?
and cat were
They-
pretty popular for food.
Did you ever know? Did you ever eat? Did you?
And I'm
That-
sure we did.
And they didn't tell you, or you just?
No, they didn't tell us.
I'd rather you wouldn't want to
but-
know on that.
but-
I don't think I want to know.
I was pretty sure, we did.
Oh.
If you flip a couple of pages towards the end, there is some more of concerts and photographs of them and
I
all
see
that.
there.
Do you have the pictures of you on the beach in the South China Sea or something like that, or?
I don't know.
I thought there was, but
Yeah.
from the looks of it, those were
That's you.
Yeah.
American buildings when I looked at them.
Well, some of them were Florida.
No,
'Cause
yeah, that's what I was asking.
When I was at Jumps NCO school, we went to Panama City, Florida for a weekend, for
Yeah.
4th of July weekend.
That's when you were in Fort Benning.
Fort
Fort
Bragg.
Bragg. Okay.
And I got the worst sunburn in my life there. That sand was white.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I just- And we didn't have sunscreen then.
That's you there at the top, right? That's you.
Yep, that's me. That would be my AIT photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then this would fit perfectly neat.
Yeah. Right in there.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the 3-pronged barrel at the front, at the end.
Yeah.
The 3-prong, and I remember I saw those. Like, hey, these are Vietnam era. But this was in, I think, AIT or boot camp. They had like dummies.
Yeah.
They were just used, and it's like they're using the old bodies from those. Yeah.
Yeah, so in AIT, well, we did the hand grenade, M79 grenade launcher, the pistol 45, the M60 machine gun, and the caliber 50 machine gun. We had to qualify on all of them.
Because you're pretty much an infantryman.
Yeah.
You do everything.
He was telling me all this, and these are just some of the weapons I would like to shoot.
I
I
know,
can get my
yeah.
hands on and try to shoot them. I don't know about the grenade launcher. You need a license for that, of course.
So the Green Launcher was the 203?
The M79.
M79, China like.
What's the big one? I'm trying to think which one.
It's kind of like a shotgun, only
Yeah.
about that long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we have a 203 now. Back then it
Yeah.
was, well, Thumper. I used them as a Thumper
Thump,
back
thump.
then. Yeah.
And then we also did the M72 Law.
Yep. That was back then too. Yeah.
Expendable.
And then the Vietnam, we always carried several hand grenades, smoke grenades, a lot of ammo. We usually have a belt or two for the M60 because he couldn't carry all of it, and a claymore. And I tried to carry as much as I could, and where some guys didn't want to carry that much, and they would throw it out. Which they didn't realize that was going to come back and
was
bite
gonna-
them in the butt.
Yeah, I was gonna save their life. Yeah. So the whole time that's a long time. 60 days in the jungle, and going through all that. Yeah.
We moved into this one place at night, and I went out and set up my claymore, and I could hear this noise. I didn't know what it was, and I backed away. The next morning, I had it 5 feet from a water buffalo inside of a pen. If I'd have blown that at night, we'd have had hamburger all over the place. And they didn't like us. The water buffalo didn't like
Humans?
the smell of American
Really?
soldiers. And so I wasn't going to go get that. So I
Just leave-
pulled it back with the detonator thing.
It's still on there.
Yeah.
Still on
But
there,
you have to, yeah, you got to.
yeah, but I disconnect that because you had to disconnect, take the blasting cap out because some airplanes could set that off. So
Vibration
no, the electronics
Wow.
flying over.
flying over, could set. They always told us never leave the blasting cap in the claymore.
It could go off.
Yeah, something could set it off.
Because I know that when my buddy who was an infantry, they played with claymores. They had the laws, like everything. All the weapons you mentioned, we just had this. We had the same. This is in the '90s, so
Yeah.
we still had the same, similar, newer models, but they're the same A2s instead of A1s, that kind of stuff. The M16s. That's pretty amazing.
I don't know if there's any type of record here or not, but he holds the fastest time in making a foxhole.
Oh yes,
You're really good at that. Yeah.
we moved out. We set up what we called LZ Legionnaire, and I literally spent the whole day digging a foxhole with my trenching tool, and I got 6 inches down. We had incoming that day, and I didn't really have a place. So the next morning, I dug and filled up 2 sandbags, put a bar C4, put the sandbags on top, and fire in the hole, and I had an instant foxhole. And then later they said there will be no more digging foxholes with C4. But I had my foxhole ready.
Quick and efficient, fast.
Yeah, we all carried C4.
Wow.
How,
But-
I was about to ask, like, how big were they? They're just like,
Little bricks. Yeah.
Well, it was about a bar that thick, about that wide, and about that long.
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we all had blasting caps too.
Man. But you're infantry, but you're basically, like scouts. You're scouts out there
Right.
observing. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
scouts. And
And I took pictures out there too.
I've seen some of the pictures. Yeah.
And
I've seen-
I wouldn't take any. And our platoon leader, he saw one guy taking pictures of some of the bodies and he took the film out, which I don't blame him. I would, I didn't. And when I got wounded, there's a lot of rolls of film that I didn't get sent in yet, and somebody got them, so I was missing a lot of my field pictures.
Oh, man. So there's lots of pictures there that you lost.
Somebody took, yeah.
Somebody has them somewhere in the world. Wow.
And I had a real nice Garber knife, double edged with a steel that I carried over, that I picked up at Fort Bragg to take over there. And when my company officer came and saw me in the hospital, I saw he had one, and I wanted to comment. Said, "Oh, I got one like that." And when I got back, that was mine.
They took it.
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
the
yeah,
hell, man?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was rumor I wasn't coming back, or I was, got shipped out. So people went through my
Yeah.
stuff and took.
Yeah, what they needed and stuff.
Yeah.
But you were hurt, but you were conscious when you left, or when you?
Yeah,
left?
I was
okay. You were
yeah,
okay.
my ears are ringing, and
Yeah.
because of the blast, and the guy behind me that got hit too. Well, he wanted morphine and stuff, but I was fine.
Yeah, that's a close call there, and
Yeah.
you did your time, you did your duty. That's
Yeah.
that's enough. And so when you're in Vietnam, so what was it like transitioning out of Vietnam and coming back home?
We flew into Fort Lewis, Washington, October. Short sleeve shirts. It was cold. And then we getting ready to fly to Denver, and we flew standby. And the gal came and said, "You're being bumped because it was space available." Well, she moved me to first class because they had empty in first class. So I got to fly first class back to
Fancy.
yeah, got meals. But I did not have anybody spitting or booing at me or anything. We flew into Denver, then I don't know how I ended up, if I flew me into Hayes or then they picked me up from there. I really can't remember for sure on that, and I got home, and everybody was nice. No, it wasn't no parties or anything, but I didn't have any really negative things.
This was in October of 70.
Yeah, but when I was at Cameron Bay, being in the convalescent center, the male sergeant called me and said, "Hey, you got some mail." And I had about 500 cards from the community,
From here.
my hometown.
That's awesome.
Because they were worried about they want, And you didn't write back because you.
No. Well, no. And I have the telegram in here that they sent my
Your parents?
Parents.
Yeah. That's it right
about
there.
got wounded.
Yeah. That must have scared the hell out of them. Man. Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to reply? 500 letters.
No, I
Just go visit them in person.
couldn't. A lot of school kids and
Yeah.
everything. So
Wow. Well, that must have been really
yeah,
touching. Like they sent you letters because they were worried about you. Wow. Two is that we can take little breaks in between. At least one break.
Yeah, one break's
Like a
fine.
piss break or something. It's like sometimes I just
Yeah.
gotta get up and go.
Yeah.
Well, when we do, it's okay. We like.
Yeah. It's like I know as long as it's just one person opting out, and we can
Yeah.
keep the crosstalk going.
I wasn't supposed to be using this bottle down here.
For you, it's allowed. You can do that.
You can do whatever you want.
So you get back to Kansas. No dirty hippies.
No. But I did find out one thing just the other day or yesterday. While I was over there, I did have this one girl writing me all the time. And when I got home, I couldn't go see her. I don't know, it was something in my mind I just didn't want to, and I just kind of broke it off with her and didn't communicate with her. And I was always going to look her up and apologize for that and everything. And then I was talking to my brother yesterday on the phone and found out that she died. So I didn't get that taken care of. But,
Yeah.
but it was hard to get to doing different things when I got home. But other than that, I think it kind of went back to normal. I went back to college and went back to Fort Hays and on the GI Bill, and I think then I met this one gal there in my hometown, and we ended up getting married and then finishing school on the GI Bill and
What did you major in?
geology.
Okay, I could have guessed that. Yeah.
That's where you got that rock. Remember that rock right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my, and after I lacked writing my thesis to having my master's, it wasn't the main goal. I just kind of just using up my GI Bill, and then I went, while I was there, worked for Halliburton Services, the oil, and that was fine until we had our first baby, and then she needed help, so I had to quit that job and found a job or two there in Hayes. And then she was going to get her master's at KU in Kansas City. And so I had applied for this one job in St. Louis and transferred back to Kansas City. It was under the Department of Defense, and I had to have a top secret clearance for it. And I was making topographic maps for the cruise missile.
What?
And but she was only there for 2 years, and I had to quit that job and go back to Hayes, and that was a good job. And when I got back to Hayes, the market was really down. This had been in the 80s. And there wasn't really too much job, so I took the post office test, and I got on with the post office. And we built a new house there, and she got to the point, says, how do we get out of Hayes? And I said, I have to be a postmaster in a small town. And then where I'm at now opened up, and so we moved there in 87 and stayed there.
So you had a secret clearance for the geological?
Yeah,
Top secret?
I ended up getting my top secret about the time that we left. It took that long.
So what, did you have a secret clearance in Vietnam?
Probably, but it wasn't a top secret clearance.
Confidential, probably.
Yeah,
I had secret because of the Singar's radio.
and it probably expired anyway when I
Yeah.
retired. I mean, got out.
Yeah, it's just like 2 years. Yeah, I think if you're, well, I'm kind of, were you the RTO, the radio man for the?
No.
No? Okay.
That's the point, man.
I wouldn't even trust that radio on your back. You
Yeah.
get some like cancer or something.
Yeah, I know. God, those are the prick 7s or prick 5s. They're pretty heavy, big, giant.
Yeah,
Just like
Compared to what I had. Yeah.
just beaming it into everybody, just bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam.
While we're on
bam.
the topic of radio, something I forgot to ask earlier. I remember hearing in school that there was like psychological operations that we did over there where we would like blast on loudspeakers, like wailing noises and stuff to try to discourage the VCs. Is that, did you happen upon any of that? In your,
No.
Okay.
But the radio stations you picked up a lot of times were from Hanoi, and they would try to,
Oh, Hannah Hanoi? That?
you know,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yep.
I carried a little transistor radio with a earpiece and listened, you know, whatever I could.
Did you ever hear her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I the
Voice of
YouTube
the enemy.
video.
But we did the same thing. We sent out drop propaganda and stuff like that.
On
Yeah,
their side too.
So a YouTube video I watched, I remember hearing that like it ended up not really like working so much from Hannah Hanoi like on discouraging the U.S. troops because they just thought her voice was sexy.
Yeah.
That,
Or a sexy Asian.
I think you heard some of that on the Good Morning Vietnam, that movie. Heard her.
That was a good movie.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
What was I going to say? The only reason why we did that, you know, psychological warfare with the Vietnamese is because, of course, they were heavily spiritual and all that type. But they saw the way they saw like spiritual entities and all that was a little bit different from how we would perceive them nowadays. And they saw them as spiritual neighbors. They didn't see them as anything else. So they're like, you know, family, kin, all that.
Part
type
of
stuff.
nature?
Yeah.
Like they're part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the whole point of those is like, oh, you angered, you know, your neighbor or something like that. Your long lost neighbor. And that was the point in doing that. So I don't know if that. Did you say it didn't really work that well? That with the
that was
psyop?
my understanding.
Yeah. And I think that too, especially when it comes down to, you know, a communism, because the only thing that matters is the state. That's the only thing that matters. So they probably just like some of them were either too indoctrinated or were somehow been able to let go of their superstitions and just basically say like, this is not going to affect me no more. The only thing that matters is the state. So, or whatever type of governing body that they would be.
Because I've heard a lot of like there's a YouTube channel called Tales from the Grid Square, and they talk about stories, weird stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're also in line with bedtime stories, which talks about this spirit.
Bedtime and then wartime.
Yeah, there's bedtime stories that talks about phenomenon and that kind of stuff, but wartime stories talk about the same phenomenon, but with military guys telling stories about it. And at the most I get from it is like those are good stories, but I don't know if they're real or not. Who knows? But
Right.
There's some stuff I heard in Vietnam where there's alien spacecraft. I've heard that. There's like whatever, and then I've heard about kind of like a chupacabra, kind of like dark entity. There was a guy who was a remote viewer in Vietnam, and he was telling stories about that too. And this is what through Sean Ryan's show, a remote viewer that he was in Vietnam at the time. He was in intelligence also,
Right.
and he talked about he had been attacked by this spirit or something, and he was a remote viewer also. So there's a lot of weird things that I've heard about that, but I can't like. Doesn't sound like any of that stuff was happening where you were at. So yeah, so I don't know if it was just made up stories. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. Yeah.
I asked him about that, and he gave me an answer that I don't think needs to be shared on here. But there's one that kind of just like one story from war times, and it did take place in Vietnam. And this guy, late night patrol, you know, sunset's coming up and everything like that, still groggy. He's waking up, and he noticed there was a guy. He assumed it was VC in front of him. And he's like, you know, drop your weapon, you know, whatever, you know, doing his thing, M16 up and all that. And he's still groggy, his vision's kind of blurry. And when his vision started to clear up and everything, he noticed that where he was at, this is like the hill. The guy was standing right here. This is a drop off right here.
He's really tall.
Really, really tall, yeah. It's one of the giants, Nephilim. Yeah. But it was a Roman soldier looking back at the guy. That's like, you know, had his weapon up and everything like that. And he said something in Latin, of course, because that's what they would speak. And he said, "Memento Mori." But the guy misheard him because, you know, first off, he doesn't know how to speak Latin. And I forgot what the guy said it was until he, you know, figured out what it was later on. But you know what Memento Mori is, of course. You know, remember to die or something like that, or remember you are going to die. I don't really remember the exact translation, but
A warning? Was it a warning from?
I don't know if it was a warning, but it was more like a reminder that you're going to die at some point.
A Roman soldier in
A
Vietnam?
Roman-
I didn't know Rome stretched that far.
Well,
Yeah, that's what he saw his vision.
I don't know if this is true or not. Put the tinfoil hat on my head.
Okay.
There we go. But apparently there has been some archaeological studies and all that type of stuff in Vietnam that could suggest that they were probably there, or some influence of theirs were there. That's why I said put the tinfoil hat on my head, because I don't know if that's true or not. So
I have to look into that because I don't think
I also have to look into that, because right now I'm just
a story that came from there. But this is from the wartime stories.
yes. It
Oh,
is. If I can find
okay.
it, I can send it to you.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
One thing I remembered that was really, really weird in Von Tau, I was walking along the street and I came across of a 59 Ford sedan car. And I always wondered, how did that get there?
Yeah,
Some French guy.
Probably.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So I can't believe I'm actually saying this. So when we were eating breakfast earlier, like the other podcast said, you ran across French. That were there any French soldiers or just French?
No, just some of the ruins out in the country, French style building, and then a lot of people that had French in them, like
So those are the kids who were left behind by the French.
Yeah.
Oh man.
you could, and a lot of the students that I was teaching English to, a lot of them knew French.
Wow.
The language.
So there was no actually French people there.
Well, I'm sure there are.
There were, but you just
Yeah.
didn't see them.
No.
Okay. But
I mean, it would just been relatives of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you think of some of these when you saw these French Vietnamese mix, were they soldiers? Or students?
No, everybody, the females, kids.
Oh, they're
I
okay
mean,
mixed in.
Well, just like this gal
Yeah,
here.
that pretty one there, yeah.
Very beautiful, by the way.
So their grandfather or father
Yeah.
is gone.
I mean, they got it in their blood. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that the French were there for like. That's when I realized they're there for a couple of maybe 100 years. But I know that when I was learning about Vietnam, like me growing up,
Right.
I realized, wait, how come my dad didn't go? Right. Well, my dad was doing was he was moving from McAllen, South Texas. He would move to Laredo, and he'd move to San Antonio. Every month he would move, getting odd jobs.
Yeah.
because he was trying to avoid the draft.
Right.
Yeah,
He was
my
doing that.
grandfather. I've been told this. He had my dad so he could avoid the draft as well. So, yeah.
See now, when I was a neocon back in high school, I was like, "You dirty scum," I would talk, but then I realized, no, I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah.
And so my dad doing that is like, hey, he had to do if he hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And so like, I got to take with the yin with the yang, and so the, damn, what was I saying? What was I leading to? Oh, so the French, what was I saying? My dad, what was I getting to? Damn it. What was my train of thought? When I thought about my dad having sex with my mom, that's where I got lost.
Stop.
Yeah, let's not think about that.
Let's not think about that at all, though.
It gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah. But I know my uncle was there too, and he was in the Navy. My dad he avoided the draft, but back to French. The French were there, so those kids were just left behind. And I know there's American mix with Asians too, and those kids were left behind too.
Well, just like the Mama San,
Yeah,
she had a couple American babies. And
that weren't hers. She adopted.
no, I mean, she had babies by a GI soldier.
Oh.
And he would send her money.
Yeah.
And she would have to find somebody, like she found me, he would send the money to me, and I would cash it and give it to her. And then before I left, I found somebody to take my spot because he wanted to take care, of the kids. So
And you couldn't bring them back over?
no. And he maybe had his own family there and they didn't know about it either.
Yeah, because that was kind of the thing when my grandfather was in World War II. My uncle, his son, it was always like, did you have a Papua? Was it a New Guinea?
Yeah,
Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, that is pretty-
Because they did anything for a can of food, that kind of thing. He's like, and my uncle would always kid my grandfather. Was like, do you have a wife out in the Pacific somewhere that we're not aware of? Do we have brothers and sisters out in the Pacific somewhere?
It's the same thing. That's what Dad said about him. Like, he has a Vietnamese family out there. Oh man,
Jeez, that's loud. Did you hear that?
the generator is kind of acting on the front. Yeah.
The generator's
Dude, it's not even a generator. What are you talking about, boiler?
Generators kicking in. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm just trying to think of other questions that come up.
Yeah, if you got to bounce, don't.
Yeah, you have to
Like,
go somewhere.
This is on your time.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Okay, let's go when you're ready.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling.
I thought we were going grocery shopping.
I want my Pop Tarts.
I want my pop cards.
Well, I would definitely want to say thanks for doing this, and thanks for being the first guinea pig for a guest on the show.
Well, I couldn't pass up the pay.
Yeah.
Did he tell you about the pay?
I don't know. I think you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay.
Well, clearly, I guess I'm going to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, take Bitcoin.
Hey, there you go. Take a Bitcoin. It'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have any other? I can't think. I'm trying. I was just trying to think of anything I could think of while you were there.
Well,
But again, you're young. Okay, when we're eating, I was telling you when I was in Panama, right?
Yeah.
Like when I was in Panama. Yeah, I went to the lady houses. You know? So that was me when that was the only time when I was in Bragg that like any place we went, like besides the States, it was the only deployment we had, and it was just JRT jungle training was it was. And so it was like an inside joke for us because we saw a Coke machine, like Coke machines that were selling beer.
Yeah.
And you put $1 and you get a beer. And I was like, wow, this is
That's
amazing.
crazy.
And so in the background, they'd be playing like the Rolling Stones and we'd see jungle. And it's like, we're in Vietnam, dude. Like, shut the hell up, you know? And I actually I got lucky when I was in Fort Sherman, which is just across the bay from Colon in Panama. This is the Caribbean side. I was able to get into a helicopter, Huey, and it was a spur of the moment. And my Sergeant Morris, said, "Hey, Reed, you want to go on a helicopter ride?" Yes. No hesitation. It was for him. I trusted him that he wouldn't go suck me into some bullshit job, but we weren't going to go into the jungle or anything. We were back. It took us a week to get ready, 2 weeks in the Hungala, the jungle, and then 1 week to clean. So we're only there a month.
Yeah.
And so when you were telling me like you being out there for like a whole month, I only did 2 weeks in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like I can understand, like because the jungle was when Panama there is no flat terrain. It is up and down, and then you're going through. Luckily, we never got leeches on us. We had poison frogs. We had monkeys throwing shit at us. We had that, but it was we never saw any boa constrictor and we had black palm. We had that. So those 2 weeks in the jungle, yeah, man. I get it. Like that's just a me touching it. Like, yeah, that is gonna suck. And so 2 weeks there, and I think it was the first week. That's when they said, "Hey, Reed, you want to go to a helicopter ride?" I go, "Yes." And so I got a helicopter ride from the base there, from Fort Sherman, all the way across to Panama City and then back, and I got to see the entire canal, and that was amazing for me. And then the 2 times I snuck off to go to the clubs, one in Cologne and one in Panama City. I got to snuck off and did that. And again, going AWOL, but not getting caught and doing that. Like and those times in your life, and I'm in my 20s, I'm 21, like you had the balls to be able to do something like that because you kind of felt invincible. And I definitely felt like every time I jumped, I was invincible. I wasn't going to die. But seeing that, like we could get hurt, yes, but it was never. We did amphibious assault also on the beaches in Panama. We did a little training on that. So it's a lot of. I just got a hint of what the jungle is like, and that is not As a dangerous zone. Everything's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, we filled our canteens up from the streams. we filled them up, put our tablets in,
Yep.
put them on the back, and the back went to the front, and that's what we drank out of. But
Man, you didn't get diarrhea or anything? Yeah.
diarrhea.
Jeez, man.
That's from every different place you went, the water was different, and you always went through those stages. And then plus, we had 2 different kinds of malaria pills we took. We had a small one we took once a week, and a big one we took every day.
So you're constantly on malaria medicine.
Yeah.
See, they had us taking shots before we went to Panama to take those malaria shots, and I didn't take them.
And see, when I went in the hospital, when I got wounded, went in the hospital, every little crack, scratch, cut got infected. And they thought I had malaria. I got to thinking, no, that was from them leeches. You know. And the first day the doctor came around and he looked and he took a scrub brush and he would scrub all my wounds to get the infection out, and that was most painful.
Oh my
Sound
God.
fun.
I had a couple guys, they had to leave the ward, you know, because they couldn't take it. And then after the doctor left, the nurse came and said, I'm not supposed to do this, but here's a couple pills for you might want to take.
Pain pills.
Yeah.
When the leeches, how many times did you get leeches?
I just got them that one time, but it was close to when I got wounded, and, you know, it was still I was...
Yeah.
And it was a good thing I got wounded, or I probably would have got really sick from infection and everything from them.
Because the leeches do give you disease. I wasn't aware.
Well, no, I just got infection.
Just
you
in
know,
the
from
cuts?
the cuts and the bites and the
And the sweat and
and
just like
it just opened sores and
You ever had prickly heat?
no,
Never got prickly.
You know what prickly heat is?
no,
Okay.
That's just if you sweat too much and
No.
you dry off right away.
No.
That the salt crystallizes in your pores, and that's what
no,
prickly is.
no.
Yeah. It doesn't melt it dissolves, remember?
dissolves,
Yeah.
Because I think what the lessons that we learned from like jungle training and all that in Vietnam and everything, when in Panama, I had diving gloves. I used diving gloves to protect my hands instead of ordinary gloves.
Yeah.
Because I can actually pull triggers and stuff.
Right.
And it was easier. But it got to the point where I just cut the finger out and I could actually tool. We had diving gloves. We had long sleeve. We had jungle boots and the little rivets where the holes are. We just cut them out.
Yeah.
Because there's no point. You're going to get wet.
Yeah.
Your socks are going to get soaked. Just make the hole bigger. The water can get out easier.
I carried a pair of socks in my shirt to dry out so I can
Yeah.
switch every day.
So you did okay. Those are the details I'm looking for. Like you do. Okay, did you wear underwear?
Yeah.
Because when I was in Panama, I got sick of wearing boxers.
Yeah.
And so I just got a knife and cut down one side, cut the other side, and took it straight out and put it in my bag because I got tired of wearing underwear when I was in the jungle.
Oh, you kept that? Ugh, dude.
I thought you threw it away, brother.
No, we couldn't litter.
Well, yeah, I can't.
litter.
can't litter.
That's the one thing. You're in the military. No litter. Like
Yeah,
I don't know if you notice when I smoke, I never put the bud outside. I always take the cherry out and put the bud in the trash or water it and then put it in the trash. Because you don't want to leave evidence that you've been there. That's that's the
that
reason
makes
why
sense.
I do that. Yeah.
But we used to do that. We didn't like dump it or anything like that. But we had a bottle full of water
Yes.
on the pipeline
Yeah.
over there, and we would just smoke and then just drop it right in there. Didn't litter or anything like that. Although
Because that was
there was a smoke pit over there at the pipeline, but we never used it. But one time I used it, and apparently when I went back up there to use it again, and I saw like all the cigarette butts were just burning. And it was set itself on fire.
Well, our thing was we couldn't hurt the environment by
Yeah.
attacking the animals or
Yeah.
leaving litter. Was it like that for you guys too? Back even way back then?
Yeah. And I remember one night we was doing an ambush, and we had a guy that was trying to light a cigarette under a poncho, but it would lit up, you know, and he didn't realize it. And plus, you could smell it, and we had to put a stop to that.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about giving yourself away.
You're gonna keep everyone killed. Did you have night vision back then?
We only had like one pair, one that went onto a rifle
Big.
scope.
Yeah.
And we would, it was kind of fun. We saw some Viet Cong smoking, and it would just lit up the place, you know, smoking, and
infrared
we
light,
watched
yeah.
some monkeys in the trees with it. But it wasn't really good quality.
But you could see him. At night.
Yeah.
Because you had was it triple canopy? Was it jungle, thick jungle, or arid? Arid, right?
It varied. You know, it was you had some jungle, and then you had rice paddies and flat and pass and stuff.
Wow.
You know, it wasn't all jungle.
What province was this in when you were in Camp Hawk? Was it at Camp Hawk?
I couldn't tell you.
What was the camp you were at? What was it called again?
LZ Hawk Hill.
Hawk Hill.
LZ Hawk Hill, yeah.
LZ Hawk Hill.
It was around Tam Key, or
Tam Key.
I think close town was.
I'm trying to think because I know the Marical wasn't one area. They're in different locations. I'm trying to think where.
So you got Da Nang, then we were down below Da Nang,
Okay.
and
I'm trying to see if I can figure out because I was curious just to like. You were with Marical when my cousin was there, and I'm trying to think like I know where he was at, and I'm trying to think, man, how close were you near him? Like you're in the division, but the division's spread out over the entire province, I would think, a certain area. And the story I got was that he was either hit by a mortar or an RPG, and he was brought home. I remember as a kid going into his room one time, and the room had been left alone, basically. And it'd be my grandfather's brother, and he comes, "Hey, get out of here!" And he had some like model airplanes, and he was in ROTC, junior ROTC in high school. William Valentino Reed. He was what do you call it? Posthumously promoted to corporal by Congress. They promoted him from E4 to corporal, and he was in the Army. Yeah.
the traveling wall is going to be in this summer.
And I was telling my cousins, I said, "Hey, we got to go down there."
Yeah.
And did you know you have a cousin there? And I showed them, and I go, "Oh, I didn't." So now you know that we have a cousin there. And of course, the cousins of mine here are my 13th cousin, but we still have the same surname, but we still have we're the same family.
I carry a couple names from my hometown that I usually look up every time.
Yeah. When you go, let me know. I want to go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go with you. Because I know he's on row W9, row 29. And I think that's where my cousin's at. And, yeah.
I usually like going late at night because there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And it's 24, open 24
That's
hours.
amazing.
Yeah.
Let me know when you go. I want to go with
Okay.
you. I'll go with you. I can show you my names. I can show Lisa that one name where he's at. Yeah. When I heard about this roving Vietnam Memorial, how impressive is that?
It is.
It's 80% the size of the original, like the one in Washington, but it is big. It is extensive, and I know that the Legion is trying to get them to come around and like them coming in this part of Kansas. That's pretty special.
Yeah, it's been.
Oh, it has. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how they're. I know I've seen some reports when they're in Kansas City, and when I saw the scale of that, I didn't realize it was that big. I was like, yeah, it has to be pretty big because I've been to the real one.
Yeah.
I've walked through it, and that's what kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself, but I didn't know that my cousin's name was there. I didn't know that. And again, like when I was in high school, that the drill team was named after him,
Yeah.
and like nobody said anything. Like I didn't know. Like, that really irritated me that I didn't know that it was named after him.
Have you done the honor flight?
No, you're telling me about that. So what does that consist of? Yeah, I think I have it on the website. I have it
Okay.
bookmarked.
You need to fill it out and get on their list. And I don't know where the closest one for you now. See, they had it here when I did it. I got on, met the bus at the high school, 7:00 in the morning, rode to Kansas City, got on an airplane, and it was kind of neat because it was an all women. The
Hey.
pilot and co-pilot and
I don't know about that.
everybody's were women.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, it was great.
They call them unmanned flights, and it's
Man, fly.
pretty funny.
And we flew into Reagan,
Ooh.
and they had everybody welcomed us there.
Nice.
And then we saw the memorial at the Pentagon. We went to the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard memorials, Vietnam, World War I, World War II, and the Korean memorials. And and then you get on the plane and fly back, and it doesn't cost you a nickel.
How long is the trip? Couple days?
Well, we left on Monday morning, was back Tuesday night. Now, some of them are just one day, but I don't, it depends on what one you team up with. This Marge that I was talking to you about, she went to Hutchinson or Wichita to get on one. And,
to go to DC.
To go to DC. And there might be a closer one for you than,
Yeah.
or might be about the same. But, yeah, you need to get your name on the deal and do that.
Man, I don't like flying. And
You jumped out of the
It's
plane.
better now.
better.
You don't have to jump. This
Why
time.
did you two jumped out perfectly good airplanes? That's
Got
all.
paid
That's all I
to.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I think because I was young and stupid. But I was convinced I was going to die in combat. That's, it's a stupid thing, but I was okay with that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like every time I was jumping, like I'm going to die today. I'm okay with that. And then when I came back from that, I was like, okay, no, I'll do it another day. I'll go one more day. But that was just me. That's how I was. I was a neocon. I was I was brainwashed. I wanted to fight the Russians, and no, I did. That was me, man. And the colonel did a good job. When we were in junior ROTC, he did a good job. And the thing, the way I look at it now, I told my brother, they were always right. They were always right because I was I'm a patriot, and I was motivated, and I wanted to go, but then when I realized now, I was like, what a fool. No, not the patriotic part, but the wanting to sacrifice yourself. It's like, no, don't do that. Let them sacrifice themselves. Let them die, not you. That kind of thing. And when you grow up and you get wiser, you realize that you're too gung ho. Like when you're a platoon sergeant, like, yeah, you're gonna get people hurt, and that's where it's like it's a real fine line when you do that. It's better. Wisdom is better than strength, and I become, I guess, wiser over time.
That's
and you
the
realize,
goal.
yeah. What's that?
This is the goal, to get wiser over time.
You want to live wiser, live smarter.
Yeah, my platoon leader, I heard that when I went back later that he would just go out and say, yeah, we're doing this and this, but that wasn't going on out in the back area like they used to do. He just said it wasn't worth it.
So he realized.
Yeah, he finally realized that.
You're hurting. It's understandable. I get it, but yeah, man. Fight smart. Don't fight stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fight in the shade, like S2 underground, right? That's you fight in the shade. Don't be stupid. There's a lot. I think that I would say for me that was like my worst time of my life. And I'm still learning from it, even after all this time. Like I'm still learning from that because that's for me too, being from South Texas, not really going anywhere, and then boom, I'm in Bragg. I'm in Fort Benning, Bragg, and then I do that, and then I get to Panama and come back.
I accidentally found this one guy on Facebook that was in my platoon. He was a machine gunner, and he got wounded before I did, and I saw where he posted something on the the Light Infantry Brigade website. And I said, and I saw that was my unit. And I said, when were you over there? And he told me, and I said, were you the one that got wounded, the machine gunners? He said, yeah. And so I sending pictures and stuff, and he sent me a letter where the platoon sergeant wrote him to where got wounded and he'll probably never walk again. And
That's what they were-
that's what they were saying. You know, they didn't know.
So when you left, the guys never saw you again. Yeah, they probably don't know what happened.
No, they didn't. And then he sent me the medic number, and I called and talked to him for a little bit, and he said, wow, yeah, he remembered, you know. And
Oh my God.
so there was 2 people that I was able to contact. I still would like to find this one guy, but I haven't been able to locate him yet.
It's amazing now that there are websites to help you find old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
And when I was in the hospital, they got me up walking the first time, and I got halfway down, and somebody said, well, nobody called me. It was always, you know, over there. And it was the guy from NCO school. And he was wounded so bad I didn't recognize him and everything. And I got to visit him. I never did go anywhere or rode on an airplane at an airport that I did not run into somebody that I knew from previous college, boot camp, AIT.
It was literally just like going to Walmart and finding somebody that you.
Just like when I went to the 82nd, this Marge was stationed there, my next door neighbor. She was stationed there. And I seemed like and even over there in Vietnam, I would run into somebody from college or
Over there.
over there.
Small world.
Yeah. And sitting in an airport waiting for a plane, somebody would walk by from previous, you know, that I knew. Maybe not personally, but I had contact with.
Yeah, the same
Had
thing.
in a class at college or something.
There was, when I was in the Guard, was it the Guard? I was in the Guard, and a guy, I forget his name, but I was in boot camp with him in basic, and I saw him later on. I was like, hey, man, like, what's up? You know, and I forget his name, but he knew who I was.
Yeah.
I go, look, dude, I went airborne. Am I a dumbass or what? You know, like showing him, and it's like, you're airborne? He's like, yeah. And he was in boot camp with me. Got to see him. And there was another Rom in my his name was James Tiberius Rom.
Oh my God.
And because his father was a Star Trek fan,
Yeah.
and so he named it was because it's James T. Kirk,
Yeah.
James Tiberius Kirk. So his name was James Tiberius Kirk. No, James Tiberius Rom. And I was like, "What's up, cousin?" I always call him cousin because we were the only 2 Rom in our battalion, or when I was a basic.
Yeah.
And I saw him later. I think I was in NTC in California, or it was Arkansas. Somewhere I saw him somewhere. I was like, "Rom." He goes, "What's up?" And it was like, you know, guys from basic, and you see him for a long time. Yeah. That was really neat to see that. Yeah, that was really neat. Small world. Yeah. That's amazing. You have any other insights?
I hate pineapple. But on the beach there in Vung Tau, they had these little boys come around with coolers with a whole pineapple, and he would carve it out, and that is the best pineapple there is. Ice cold, homegrown, fresh pineapple.
So the pineapple was a cup.
No, it was the regular thing, but he'd carved the seeds and stuff out and everything.
Oh.
And you just
Chew on it.
left the green on it, and you just chew on it, and
Oh, wow.
and that was good. But I will not touch pineapple.
He also hates
And
this.
Hey, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
out in the field, the only pop we got was Dr. Pepper because everybody took, and it's hot. We didn't have ice, and I will not drink Dr. Pepper.
It was for me when soda drinks, don't want it. If it's hot, don't want it. It's just gonna sticky and you're gonna ants and they didn't want it.
They used to serve this hot. You know that, right?
Yeah, that is gross. That's why I
used
have
to
a
serve-
block of ice in mine.
They used
it
to
has
serve
to be cold.
Serve it hot with an orange slice, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Orange slice, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, in cafeterias, you used to get it hot out of the dispenser. You put a slice of orange and have hot Dr. Pepper.
Have to try that.
Hot Dr. Pepper. Well, when I'm in South Texas, we always had ice with our drinks, and when we had these Germans coming into Austin, the Germans don't use ice for anything. I was like, you don't put ice in your water? I go, why? And no, because everything's
Yeah.
cold over there
Yeah.
anyway. That's why. So yeah, that was kind of like a culture like with the Germans. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's these websites. If you can find old guys, if it's possible to find old buddies from units, because I was able to find my old squad leader. I was able to find him finally, and Sergeant Morrison. He became a first sergeant actually later on, and then I'm friends with a few of them on Facebook too. Like it's nice to see them.
And see, I have their social security numbers too.
Yes, because exactly, it's all there.
right.
It's all there. But you got that's secret. You got to
Yeah.
take care of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on there. Everything's on there. I have their socials. I could track them down if I
Yeah.
wanted to, but it's okay. I'm not gonna do that. I'll just keep that classified over there in my
Yeah.
room. That's all. Yeah, on the orders as everyone's there.
And then also there was a guy from my NCO school that came in the hospital. He was on dog patrol, and his dog missed it, and he got his foot blown off, and he was tickled pink because he was going home. The doctors couldn't realize how happy he was. Usually they are mad because they lost a limb or something.
Yeah.
But this guy evidently wasn't that active, more of a nerd or,
Yeah.
intellectual type. And he was happy because he was going home.
Lost a foot.
He lost a foot, but he was going home.
In his mind, he thought that was a good trade
That
there.
was the best thing that
Yeah.
happened to him.
Best trade.
And then we had this one guy that came in that shot himself in the foot to go home
Yeah.
because he was, and they had a guard on him, and he
Yeah.
was going to face
Yep.
charges and dishonorable discharge.
That'd be considered what damaging of government equipment.
Yeah.
His own foot.
Article 15
Yeah.
or more.
Well, that's what my uncle was telling me here. My cousin was telling me here that the guys that are part of the draft, after they got to the physical and came back home, they blew their fingers off, so they wouldn't go. And like, oh man, well, what's the sacrifice on that? Like, you sure you want to do that? Because yes, I get it. You don't want to go because everyone's getting. The only thing you hear during that time from my stories from my family is that everyone's dying. Everyone's dying from Vietnam. That's all you're hearing. And it's like 99%. No, it's not that. The numbers are high. It was like 50-50 more likely. But I understand them not wanting to go. And I don't blame them. They blew their fingers off. They ran to Canada, whatever they did. My dad moving around, he did that too. His older brother went to, he was in the Navy. He probably ended up joining instead of being drafted, I think.
Yeah.
So he joined the Navy probably. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these wars, they have to be just. At the time, I can see how Kennedy and McNamara and all them saying that this a domino effect of communism, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point to where that's why I don't really believe in the draft. I don't believe in the draft. Then if I'm against the draft, then I'm against selective service too. But I'm not really.
I think we need to balance more of the civil service there with
Get selective service, but it should be volunteer only. It should not be draft because what's the point of putting someone there who doesn't want to be there? And there's going to be
just become a combat multiplier to the enemy.
Exactly. That's what they're going to be. So yeah. And this is man. So that was your prime or 20s, your prime, coming back and starting a family. having a boring life from then on. Boring life from then on.
Well, I bet you got some cool postman stories.
That must have been a whole. That's a whole nother chapter right there. Right?
Yeah.
Bring you back for that.
There's probably more trauma in that.
Yeah.
We can bring it back on that. Talk about the post office. Yeah, my grandfather did the post office work too after World War II. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stories. So.
Well,
You can't talk about them, they're classified. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, that classified. Yeah.
Well, that must have been a hell of a sham job there, being working in the post office, being home, set for life right there.
It was fun. I can tell you that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, for me it was not probably not for him.
He did ride-alongs with you in the...
no, I was in the office.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Had a rock tumbler going in the
Yeah.
back.
When I heard about these rock... I think I was on the phone with him one time, and I heard this clanking. I was like, what's that noise? It's a rock tumbler. And then later on, we were joking, saying, I like to have it on when I sleep. It helps me sleep.
He has him asleep.
Yeah, and then he shuts it off, and then he forgets to turn it back on.
Yeah, but I've been better about it.
No, just the other night you forgot. About
right
3
now.
nights ago.
No,
Yes.
no, I don't believe that one bit.
That's funny.
In fact, it was Friday night. I had to turn it back on.
What are you... Rock tumbling, what are you finding? What do you...
Rocks.
Is ordinary rocks? Anything?
I have a friend at Fairbury. He has access to the gravel pits up there.
Okay.
And he's done this years and years every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And he would give me a bag of petrified wood and agates and stuff. And and plus I go out and look for it. And plus I go to the flea market Hutchison once a month, and I pick up rocks there that I could tumble and everything. And
Do you have the UV light to look for those glowing
Yeah.
rocks?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen those. Those are beautiful.
oh, we're supposed to.
Where
look
do
a lot more.
Yeah. We were, but I forgot to remind you.
Is one of them one of those?
So the picture that I sent to you, insert wherever here. It's a Yoper light.
Yeah, Yoper rock.
Yoper, yeah, but
And it's UV light or
UV.
Yeah.
UV.
Yeah,
And they
UV,
glow.
black light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does it do that? What is that?
It's the different minerals in it.
Reflecting the
Yeah.
Flax,
The green is uranium,
Whoa.
you know, and there's a lot of the,
It's just somewhat radioactive.
you know, orange and yellows and
Yellows. I see a lot of yellows. Yeah.
I picked up. I always wanted a star sapphire ring, and I found one, Vietnam, Vung Tau, and I told my mama son, and I brought it back, and I had it at the Rock and Mineral, and this guy said, "Well, you look like you got a ruby." I said, "No, that's a star sapphire." I said, "Well, wait a minute." I got my black light out and hit it, and it shone bright red. I said, "Yep, you're right. That's a star ruby." Ruby really glows red.
And that's from Vietnam? The piece, that rock?
Well, the whole ring I bought.
Over there in Vietnam.
Yeah,
So you've always been into rocks.
yeah.
When
When I was small, yeah.
Yeah.
How much was because you would give the pack of cigarettes to Mama-san, right? And she would get the Vietnamese currency.
Yeah.
How much was it per pack? You remember?
No.
No. You could have been like a kingpin or something.
And my sister was getting married, so I bought this. It was black lacquer board that had mother of pearl embedded in it, and I sent that home for her for a Christmas present.
From Vietnam?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
then later I picked up 2 small ones that I gave her for Christmas, and she has that.
She still has them?
Yeah.
Good.
There's another 2 interesting pieces that he also has. They came from Vietnam too, and I kind of forgot to bring them with us. But they're these. Are they porcelain? These elephants. Where are they made out of?
Yeah. They're ceramic elephants. You know, it was just one of the things they like India and stuff they had. I brought them back, and
I misunderstood. I thought it was porcelain for a second.
and I was always buying. I bought camera stuff for me, and
Well, I hope
See,
so.
when I started out, I was using the Instamatic, and then after I got wounded and stuff, I picked up a 35 millimeter rangefinder, and then I bought a single lens reflex. And then when I went to college, I took photography. I worked at the photo lab on campus, and I did weddings and
Oh man,
stuff like
okay.
that. Had my own dark room. I
Oh,
haven't
that's
used
cool.
that for a long time.
He takes really good pictures, especially.
Well, that's why I noticed that you're taking all these pictures, and yeah, that's my uncle. I keep calling him uncle. My cousin, you know, he took some too, and I was, man, I wish I had done that. Damn it, you know,
Yeah.
because those memories that you had, they're gone, and then
Yeah.
but the pictures kind of like show, and it tells a story. Each one,
Yeah.
yeah. He had he had pictures of these Asian girls. My cousin did have a girlfriend there, but didn't have any kid. But her brother was part of the Rock Army, so he was
Yeah.
He was a South Korean. I guess it's their special forces. I'm not sure, but he said he was really tall for an Asian. He said he was about as tall as
Yeah.
him, and he looked mean. And so that was the brother of the girlfriend that he had with him. So he would hang out with them. Yeah.
Yeah, those girls would call me Cherry Boy because I wouldn't have sex with them.
Is that what she would?
I was afraid to. I wouldn't sleep with one of them with an
Hell
M16
no.
beside my side.
You're gonna be sent to Syphilis Island out in the middle of the
Oh
Pacific.
yeah, and that's always scared me too. Those movies they always showed
Man,
you.
they showed us that too.
Oh.
It scared the shit out of me. It's like I'm not
And I can understand because I mean, how many different GIs do they have sex with?
thousands.
You know, sorry, I
How can you
wasn't.
say no to that? Look at this. You say no to that.
It was easy.
Well, he's rational. That's why.
No, yeah. There's some like nasty stuff.
But they were nice as can be, you know, and
Yes,
sure,
yeah.
I know that they know to do that, but
Yeah, that makes
we were out walking once and we came up with one of the that I knew from the bar, and of course they did, when they're home they sure didn't look like they're a different person, no makeup and
Yeah.
stuff, and we ate with them and had nice
Friends.
chow,
Yeah.
friends, and,
Yeah, it's friends.
you know.
That's probably safer too. Yeah, because you're not. They know you're not after this or that, whatever.
And my mama-san, when she come to work for us, she brought her niece, 14-year-old niece, and I would have to go down to the gate and sign her in because she didn't. And the last day, I went and saw mama-san goodbye, and she wanted me. She said, "Do you want my niece?" And I said, "No, she's only 14 years old, and I didn't want anything like that, you know." And
Yeah.
the niece told the niece to go with me, and I said, "Go play with your kids. I don't want,"
Yeah.
you know. And she was happy and stuff, but that's how they're drilled, you know, for that.
Yeah.
But
But now the way it is now, Vietnam is becoming. We're a little more friendly with Vietnam now. They want to be a business partner. Now you have China threatening them. So
well, they make good shoes. A lot of your Nikes and stuff are made there.
yeah, I had some.
And they make,
yeah,
I think they make the generator for the wind generators
really
there.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
know that.
yeah,
They're not. I don't. There's tour. You can go there as a tourist.
Yeah, I
they're
know.
not. They're not anti-American anymore. I don't
They,
think they've changed. Yeah.
a lot of the veterans places have tours to go back over there, and they will take you. And if you want to go to where you were at, then it costs a little bit more. But they weren't too bad. I think it's like $3,000.
That's
I
not
know
bad.
one.
Good vacation.
Yeah, but I don't have any desire to go back there.
I know that's the one thing that's weird for me is like you go back to what do you want to go visit? You want to go visit where you. Yeah, that's.
If I'd go back there, I'd collect rocks.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be cool. It's nice to see that I think I learned it from McNamara had a documentary called The Fog of War, and he went back and talked to Vietnamese generals back then and asking them, you're willing to risk this to fight us. Why? And he would ask him questions. Really good documentary. He even talked to some Cuban generals, and even I think he had a chance to talk to Castro. And this Robert McNamara, Secretary of War, I think back then, or Secretary of Defense. They changed it. And he was a...
It was after World War II where it was switched over to Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, that's what it changed over. So in World War II, he was a Air Force. I'm not sure he was a pilot or not, but he was part of the Air Force. And his whole thing was like, what we were doing in World War II was, if we had lost that war, we'd be charged with war crimes. That's what he said. It's like, oh, Jesus. And so yeah, he was Secretary of
You know,
Defense.
it's kind of felt like we was fighting it with one arm tied behind our back.
Definitely, and that's
And they said if we kept that bombing up in Hanoi, they were just about ready to sign
that close.
that close.
But
But the
fucking Chinese came in.
no, it
think there's more?
was the politicians in Washington that stopped it.
Yeah. That's the part when I see I can find videos and they show the front lines. There's it's an animation and it shows the front lines of World War I, World War II. And I saw the one for Vietnam and it just pissed me off. And I was like, are you fucking serious? This is what they did? So the whole time you see the Americans, and there'd be Americans, South Vietnamese Army, Japanese, South Koreans, Australians, British, all you see their little flags where the units were at, they're pushing. And you see the line wavering and it pushes back and it's right at the border. Just keep fucking going.
Yeah.
And that's the part, and you can see Americans in Thailand, you see them too. And then when China comes in, they overthrow Laos and Cambodia. Kampuchea change it to Kampuchea.
Yeah.
And then the very end, the Americans going a little bit, and then they quit withdrawing. And
Yeah.
I was like, seeing that visually, because all you can do is see videos and everything, hear stories, but when you actually see it on the map where it's at, that just pissed me off. I was
Yeah, and they started bringing all the supplies down around through Cambodia.
like, yep.
The Ho Chi Minh Trail, yeah.
Then they wouldn't let us go across the border. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a stupid, and that's politics. Now, what was the reason? Because they didn't want it to escalate because of China. China was already there.
Yeah.
And Thailand's our ally. Vietnam. We should have. It just.
yeah.
It could have started World War III. I understand that's possible to whoever. I don't think so. But again, tied behind your back. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
What the hell?
We should have done what MacArthur suggested.
Yeah.
I had a
idea.
classmate that was conscientious objector, and
Yeah.
he went over there as a missionary. And when the Americans pulled out, he stayed there.
Man, he wasn't thrown in prison.
Nope, no. He and he wrote a book in James' footsteps, and I got it, and he's a good friend and everything, but you know, I was reading his book. I don't know how many times I stopped because everything I was doing was wrong. You know, what I was doing over there was wrong, and of course he was, you know, a missionary and everything, and
Do you feel that?
no.
Yeah. I don't think.
And I felt like we was doing good over there, and I felt like, you know, it should have been turned around, but
Yeah.
who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Like, you know, that's what it's nice. I'm at a point now in my life where I can step back and just observe what it is and accept it. It's just there is
Yeah.
you know, there is like him saying you were doing wrong and it stopped like, and you're questioning my existence is what you're doing. But yeah, like
I don't feel like, you know, they said, well, you lost the war over there, and I said, I don't feel like we lost it. That was out of our hands.
when you tie one hand behind your back, what
Yeah.
the hell do you expect? Yeah. It
I
doesn't
think
make any
that kind of
sense.
bothers me more than anything. Said, well, you lost that war.
It was said by somebody who wasn't there
Yeah.
or who never served.
It was a conflict. It wasn't a war.
Yeah.
Police conflict. That's what it was.
Yeah. I guess that's probably what I want to talk about too was, yeah, I guess we could, real quick. So now, as me being a veteran too, I went through my own kind of like trauma, and it could have been just like trauma I made up in my own head. So for me, I think it might be also because I grew up without a father, so I was always angry. And me going into junior ROTC was like a replacement to try to get to be in the right place, the right mindset. And all it did really was get me ready to, like, yeah. And I think I had something to prove, and that's the reason why I joined the military. And I knew that I wasn't tough enough to be like anything higher than airborne. So airborne was kind of the limit. When I realized when I was there, I was like, there's no way I would have been able to, maybe if I pushed myself, but to be Ranger, no way. And going through the jungle in Panama, I have never been pushed physically ever in my life when I was there. I realized, holy crap. I was on the edge of my bodily function as far as like pushing it to the end, to the edge, and keep going. And I couldn't believe I kept going. Physically exhausted, but still pushing. And I was like, dang, I shocked myself. And I said, maybe. But I definitely was the edge on that. So for me, like going through that and being angry and improving itself to myself, I think that might have helped. And then when I got back, I was lost. There was nobody telling me what to do. I had no guidance. I was aimless. And when you come back aimless, angry, you drink. And that's where it ended up happening to me.
You didn't get married?
Thank God I didn't.
You didn't have anybody tell you what to do?
Yeah, okay. Yes, maybe that's what I needed, right? No, I think you might be
Scratch that out.
No. I think you might be onto something there, because maybe that's I think I didn't feel financially stable enough to do that, and I was terrified to have kids, and because I thought I would be like an abusive father, like my father was to me. And so that's for me. That was and I always like joking and say, if I have kids, they will enslave the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, there will be some bad kids. They're going to be criminals. They're going to be, they're going to be bad kids, because I don't think that I would be able to. It's just in their blood to do bad things. That's how I always felt, and that was my excuse. I can't have kids because they will enslave the earth. I would just jokingly say shit like that. And so once I got past that, I had a real, like, something was going on, and I couldn't find grounding, is what it was. And so finally, after many years, job, getting a no job, and eventually, I think what really saved me was finding genealogy. And when I found genealogy, that grounded me. And then I felt more, now I know where I'm from, who I am, where I'm going. And I was like, no, okay, now I get it. And then learning, being calm, growing older and calming down and relaxing and chilling out instead of being angry all the damn time. So when I was like, what the hell am I angry at? I'm angry at myself, and I'm doing it to myself. So eventually, do you really do?
What are you talking about?
Fart?
What are you talking about?
So after that, like getting better with myself, and that's when I found psychedelics.
Yeah.
And that actually really, really did it to where it actually helped me pull my head out of my ass, basically. And that really helped. I said I found psychedelics, ran other veterans that were doing it too, and learned a lot from the younger kids that were actually in Iraq and Afghanistan. And yeah, and getting better and better every year.
Yeah.
And I got better.
Well, there's one thing I want to talk about, but I don't know if I want to. But it's what you have at home, that rifle. So this is from F-16, right? This is an Allied weapon.
A1.
Yeah. So he went through the journey of fixing this up from a old friend of ours, but he has a SKS at home. Probably the same weapon that they were using over in Vietnam.
Shooting against me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, they had AK They had AKs.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
probably did,
Yeah.
but there was probably
SKSs too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was probably
Yeah.
them around.
That's a Russian-made weapon as well, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes.
Well, there's Russian and Chinese.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know the
Different.
the
Definitely.
Chinese.
The Russian, I think, is supposed to be better.
Yeah.
I believe that.
You have an enemy. You hold an enemy's weapon.
Oh, I had a friend that had the barrel part mechanism, and I traded some work for that, and then I took it to the gun show, and first guy I showed it to him said, "I'd never shoot that. I'll give you $20 for it." And I told him, "Nah, I use it for a door stop." And then I went on down to the next one, and he said, "Hey, what you gonna do with your SKS?" I said, "Well, I thought about fixing it up." And I said, "Is it worth it?" He said, looked at it and said, "Yeah, I think so." And he had a new stock, so I bought the stock from him, and he said, "You need a trigger mechanism." And so I went home and I found one on eBay, and I sent that to him. I said, "You think this would work?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you think I ought to go ahead and buy that?" He said, "Nope, because I already did." And so when he got it, I took it. He used to live in, so I knew him and everything. And so he put it in and fixed it up. And then I bought a sling from him, and we went out and shot it. And,
It was nice. It was.
and,
yeah.
you know, it's the barrel's a little rough and rusty, you know, but it works, and
Yeah.
and you know, it's kind of neat. And I said, "Well, I probably got shot by one of these." He said, "Yeah, you most definitely did."
Wow.
It has. It's a. I think like a 5-round internal magazine.
10.
Yeah.
10.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
10.
Okay. Yeah, you just pull it back and you just.
I was wanting to get a
with a stripper clip. Of
banana clip for it, but they wouldn't work on it. I was just wanting it for looks more than anything.
Is it a wood stock or a
Yeah,
black?
It's wood.
Oh
wood.
man. Okay.
wood furniture.
Yeah, I got brand new old wood stock for it.
Really nice wood, by the way.
Yeah.
Durable weapon too.
I put the sling on it too, and that was kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
So
But it was kind of neat. Just
Yeah.
we don't shoot it much, or
well, it's just sitting there. You
Yeah.
probably lube it up and all that.
That's the one thing I noticed out here in Kansas. Like, no, everyone has guns. Don't come around messing around. Yeah, don't.
Fuck around,
This is
find
good.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
you
around,
know-
find out. Yeah.
I had a cousin, and she posted something on Facebook. Why would anybody want an automatic rifle? And I said, and I posted back. I said, "Have you ever rode a motorcycle 160 miles an hour?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, it's fun."
Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah.
It is, yeah.
There's my buddy down. We had a bag of cans, right? We went down this some like secluded part of the valley, and we threw all the cans out. He had the he had an A2, MC and A2. I had the AK, and bigger, fatter round. He has a bunch of, and so we had about 200-300 rounds apiece. And then the wind picked up and started moving the cans. I go, "They're coming!" And the wind's coming, and we're just shooting at the cans. Reloading, and the cans are moving, and we're blowing them up, and while they're tumbling in the wind. That was fun. I was like, "Man, that was awesome." Yeah, it was, man. It's too bad it can't happen over and over again. That'd be awesome. But threw this big bag of cans, and they're just tinkling, tinkling, and we're just shooting at them. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of the people. They just don't understand why would anybody would want a gun. You know, well,
They don't get it.
it's-
Yeah.
It's an insurance
there's-
policy.
it's-
There's many reasons.
Well,
Insurance
yeah.
policy.
Insurance policy.
In
Yes.
case of tyrannical government, you know.
Well,
Yeah, that's
and,
what- yeah.
and they're fun to shoot. You know, I mean,
There's nothing wrong with that.
We need to go.
we always grew up hunting and stuff, and
Yeah.
We need to go skeet shooting. That's
Oh
what we need
man,
to
that
do.
would be
Yeah,
fun.
shoot some blue rock.
With the SKS.
no,
No.
shooting?
No, that's a waste of ammo.
But we got a flip target thing. We could use it for that.
No, is that a rifle target? I think
Yeah.
we had this conversation before.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's heavy gauge.
But a buddy of mine, we went shooting one time over at where it was supposed to be a pistol range, but we were standing outside in the field, and we set up one of those targets, what he got, and we just ruined it. We just punched a hole through one of the legs in the ground, just like punched right a hole through it, and then instead of spinning, it would just like stay in its place because it's just all broken now.
What's the time?
Yeah.
Oh, we're at hour and 10 plus. I think we got like an hour in before that, so
Wait,
I had to
what?
split it up. Remember?
Oh,
So yeah, we're
Yeah,
like closer
okay.
to like,
Remember the intermission?
probably around 2 hours
okay.
20 minutes if I had to guess.
that's good.
I think we got
Pretty good. You
Yeah,
feel
okay.
feel pretty good about it?
Yeah.
All right.
Would you do it again? No.
You got the
Well, I'm glad you did this, sir. I really
Okay,
appreciate
yeah.
you coming and doing this.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
seriously.
Good.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. I didn't do shit. You did. You did. I didn't do anything.
So, I think you wanted to ask this.
What's that?
Because you remember watching Sean Ryan's with that Major. What was that guy's name? Major.
Oh, the black guy.
Yeah.
What?
Like, you wanted to ask him and be like, how do you think about the current soldiers? Are they pussies or not?
Curtain soldier.
Current
Oh,
soldiers.
current. Yeah. Okay. So the idea was, yeah. I don't think we need to ask that. Well, the whole thing was like I kind of thought we were talking when you guys were outside that I think that soldiers now are, or the men now, ordinary American young kids are pussier than before. And I was like, no, maybe, but the ones who do join are not the pussies. They actually serve, and you have to think also that's 20 years of combat, multiple tours. No, it's and like whatever happened in World War II, whatever they experienced, or whatever he experienced, whatever I experienced, whatever they're experiencing now. The only difference is that it's talked about more, and it looks like they're pussier. But no. I think it's the same. I think the number of men that serve now that are qualified is less and less and less because of the bad health.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah,
that's why
comorbidities.
Kennedy's there to make sure it gets cleaned up for better health, basically. And so I was overweight when I went in, and I lost it. You know, I'm overweight now, but I've always been a big guy all the time. And yeah, I think I think that you know what to answer that question. We know
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same. It's the same thing. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to go through what a lot of them are going through, the type of things they're experiencing over there in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran.
What do you think that do you think it's just longer exposure to combat? I think that might be what it is because
Yeah.
continuous. Because in order to be qualified for the CIB, you had to do 30 days in combat zone, and you doubled that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why that there's a requirement for those things, and they mean something.
Yeah.
And I want to read reasons. Like I'll tell you, like I have 2 AAMs. Those are the highest medals I have. And one of the AAMs I got was when I was National Guard, and was the only federal award I got with National Guard. And if you read the reason, it says for continuously improving his foxfold and for destroying more enemy than the entire platoon combined. But we were using Miles gear, and we're doing fake war.
Yeah.
And I got like 18, hits basically, and that's what it said in my thing. It didn't say how many fake kills I got. It just said for continuously improving his foxhold, and for destroying more enemy than the entire platoon combined. And like that to me, like that's the reason why I got that. And so that it also that means something. Like, and your CIB is because you're in the combat zone for more than 30 days, and I think those are things that most people. I think the higher tier guys in us, because I am definitely not tier 1, tier 2. No, the bottom of the barrel, airborne at the bottom. And so we don't. The highest is the AAM for me. These guys, you're getting a Purple Heart. That's way over. That's silver, bronze star. Come on, dude. That's a lot, So those mean something, and there are reasons why those are given to you. And so when you realize what the meaning is, yeah, it really sticks. And so it means something. Yeah. We're good.
Good.
Well, sir, thank you for showing
Thank
up and
you.
doing this. If you think there's any other veterans that want to put up with this crap and come through this, and go through this. I appreciate
Yeah, thank you. And get onto that honor flight thing.
Yeah, I'm scared of flying though, man.
Yeah, but you know, once you get on the plane, you just put your earphones on and sit back, and you're there.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick trip
Yeah,
for 2 days. Damn,
or one day.
1 day.
So, good.
Yeah,
You got the lightsaber? We got to do
I
that?
kind of we usually close, but as I
It's a war cry from a movie, but yeah.
so it's a movie.
Lisa,
Lisa,